Good evening and welcome to the Lawrence City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez. Present. Councilor Maria Dela Cruz. Absent. Councilor Pavel Payano. Absent. Councilor Stephanie Infante.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Absent. Councilor Gregory Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Anna Levy is absent. President Mark LaPlante.
Present. Will you please rise and join me in a moment of silence? Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sure. Go ahead.
Councilor Payano.
Present. Thank you. Before we start with the public participation, I just want to congratulate and thanks all of you for your victory in the election. And if those of us on the left side here remember our first time on the City Council, we may remember our first meeting. And I just want to welcome officially again Councilors Stephanie Infante and Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, and I welcome them to the City Council. And I know they're going to do a great job representing the people in their district. So a hearty welcome to both of you. And another point that I just want to make, we had a fantastic event last night. The swearing-in ceremony was done, and a lot of people were very, very helpful. The clerk was good enough to announce a lot of the folks that were very instrumental in pulling that off. But the one person that she did not mention last night and what made the event so successful was herself. So I want to thank the clerk for all that she did to pull off that event last night. So thank you, clerk. Appreciate that. At this point, we have public participation. The rules haven't changed at all. 2.5 minutes to say whatever you want to say. Address the entire City Council and no individual councilor directly. The bell will go off at the 2-minute point, letting you know that you got to wrap up your comments. You got 30 seconds for them. The first person I see who's listed is Jose Miguel Rodriguez. Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Necesito que alguien me traduzca en inglés, por favor.
Is there anybody in the audience who's able to help with the translation? Who'd be willing to help? Is there anybody in the audience who can assist? That would be very nice, a nice gesture. Thank you.
Muy buenas noches.
Good evening.
Al claustro de personas que nos representan de diferentes distritos de la ciudad de Lawrence.
Representatives of different districts.
Que en este año nuevo, Dios nos dé salud a todos.
That in this new year, God bless you all.
Que esa es la mayor riqueza.
That is the best.
Yo soy José Miguel Rodríguez, que llegué a esta ciudad un 4 de febrero de 1991. Que llegué a esta ciudad un 4 de febrero de 1991.
He arrived in Lawrence on February 4th, 1991.
Hay 3 aspectos fundamentales para el desarrollo de una ciudad.
There is a need in the development, a better development of our city.
La planificación,
The planification,
la organización
the organizing,
y el desarrollo.
and the development.
Hemos visto que el tráfico de influencia le hace un daño a la ciudad.
We have seen that the traffic of influence has damaged the city.
Porque en realidad hemos visto que cuando el concilio llamado Carlos Matos de San Loren
Because we have seen the reality, the council called Carlos Matos of South
Okay.
Lawrence
tuvo que afrontar a Sullivan
had to affront Sullivan
cuando tuvo que vender propiedades de bajo precio de la ciudad de Loren
when he had to sell properties at low value from the city of Lawrence,
permitiendo que la ciudad no adquiriera una economía mejor de esos edificios que vendió en aquel entonces.
permitting that the city doesn't get a good price on those buildings that were bought from Lawrence.
En 31 años que tengo aquí, hay calles
In 31 years that I've been living here, there are streets
que nunca se han reparado.
that have never been repaired.
Pero cuando hay una reparación de ellas,
But when there's a repair of them,
vemos cómo les rompen algunos pedazos
we see how they break certain pieces
para reparar,
to repair them.
que por qué no se hacen primero estudios de factibilidad
Why don't you first create studies of,
en esas calles
in those streets,
para que no haya reparación en ellas?
so that,
Porque
so that way you don't have to repair them.
hacerle un driveway a las calles es costoso.
To do a driveway in the streets is,
Y cuando se le hace una herida, las lluvias dañan las calles más rápido.
and when there's a hole, the water harms the streets more rapidly.
Voy a tratar, cuando ustedes estén reunidos,
I'm going to try when you guys
hacer
meet,
observaciones del lugar
to do those observations of those homes,
para que la ciudad rumbe al su desarrollo.
so that the city moves forward in this development.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is William, I'm having a hard time, Graham? William Graham. Your name and address, please, for the record, sir.
William Graham. I've lived at 53 Bradford Street for about a year and a half. I'm handicapped, been handicapped since 2004. I have called Mr. Rodriguez 38 times.
Okay, sir, if you could just, I know that's part of the fact, maybe you could just say you called counselors without pointing out anybody specifically. Just say, I called counselors. Continue.
Okay, I'm sorry. I spoke to Teresa, the city clerk, very helpful.
Okay,
I called the mayor's office, I called the state representative, I wrote to Lawrence Eagle Tribune, I wrote to Dear Abby, I called David Rodriguez, I wrote to Officer Cano, I called him, I called Lawrence Police Department begging for a second handicap thing. That's another resident where I live. His car is here 3 to 5 days, he won't move it. Christmas Day at 10 o'clock in the morning, I was coming downstairs. When I hit the sidewalk, I hit the ground. My back injuries. I had to go see my father. He's 88 with emphysema. So do you want to see the pictures?
if you want to give us pictures for the record, do you want them back, or did you want us to keep it?
You can have them.
Okay.
These are all back injuries.
We'll put it in the record. Give it to Teresa.
This is where I have my hip replacement. Now, I couldn't see my own back. I was in bed for 4 days in pain. My nurse seen it, she says, you need to go to the hospital.
No, Teresa, just pass it around. Go ahead, sir.
This is the street. I begged and I pleaded for a secondary handicap thing. I've done everything possible. And again, I mean, the street is so congested, there's nothing I could do. I went to the hospital today in pain. And this is like the first time I've been out of the house since this has happened. As the city, the sidewalk is all torn up. You can see this picture. I didn't mean to fall, and it was a bad injury. Methuen Street has about 10 or 12 handicapped places to park. I begged and I pleaded over and over. I've done everything I possibly could. I even wrote to Dear Abby. I just need another handicap place to park. The guy with the Mercedes-Benz isn't going anywhere. Officer Cano says he needs to speak up and get his own. What else could I do?
Sir, what we're going to do is that we've heard your comments. You've got, here you have at least one at-large city councilor. I think you've got one district councilor. They have every ability to, if you wish to engage with them and try them one more time, that might be the way to go. But we've got your contact information, and I would maybe perhaps one of my colleagues here will follow up with you. So I can't make that commitment. Either the district or an at-large council may get in touch with you. The other scenarios, if we do allow folks to put things on the agenda as well. We've seen that happen. So you do have some opportunities, but maybe a counselor can help you with that. So we do have your information, and thank you for testifying and giving us this information. And I'm confident that someone will reach out to you.
I hope so.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All righty. The next speaker is Mr. Mali.
Omoyun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this new year, we the citizen demand of you and Mayor Brian De Pena support Lawrence Police Department and their union. Contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vask, has done excellent job to protect our citizen. In the year 2022, we are united as a citizen, demand the best contract for our best police department. We demand declare September 13 of each year the day of the police appreciation. Demand of you support Lawrence Police Union and Senior Officers Union. Million thanks to our DPW workers for their hard work. We support DPW Union and their leadership. Our public school, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, moving forward. Lawrence Teachers Union must know we 83,000 citizens are behind them in this collective bargaining and fight for their contract. Lawrence Public School paraprofessional must know we are behind them for best compensation and support their union. In the dark days of the pandemic, citizens are disappointed with Maura Haley, Massachusetts Attorney General, has done nothing, and she want to run for the governor of Massachusetts. Remember your campaign promise, save Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, only possible if you support of police officers. We demand the best contract for Lawrence Police. Lawrence, one city under God, united and strong. We are champion of the respect to union rights. We demand support our teachers' union in this year of the collective bargaining negotiation, the best contract for our teachers. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mali. The next speaker is Richard Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Richard Russell, live 34 Cross Street. My comments will be short and sweet tonight. First, I'd like to congratulate all of you on your swearing-in ceremony that unfortunately I was unable to attend. Just remember, you were elected to represent the citizens, not special interests or special interest groups. Lastly, can you light a fire under the powers that be to improve the entire COVID-19 testing process, waiting times, locations, etc.? I get frustrated seeing the elderly standing in line. I fall into the category, unfortunately, of elderly, being 70, on the wrong side of 75, but I'm a trained professional for standing outside in the weather. Something has to be done. As always, I thank you for the time and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. The next speaker this evening is Kelly Staniszewski.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to refile my petition that was sent in. It was not addressed correctly, and I was told I can't refile, so I'm going to read it. it was not sent to the appropriate subcommittee. This is mainly regarding the ordinance that was passed regarding the one-way street on Hamlet during specific times. There needs to be either a review or reversal of the ordinance altogether or another plan put in place so traffic is not stopped by a school employee blocking both lanes of traffic. All city councilors took a pledge to uphold the U.S. Constitution, the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and the city charter and ordinances. It is not okay by any law to block both lanes of traffic twice a day, impeding my only route to my house and my neighbors. There is no flow of traffic allowed during pickup and drop-off. Traffic is stopped in both lanes for every car and student. The committee you decided to send it to has not met since 2020. It only meets quarterly when needed, and it's the wrong committee. If you gave the residents on the street and myself the respect and read what I filed, you would clearly see it was regarding much more than parking. I was told by Councilor Abdu that night that he would at least in the meantime fix the signs so they would match the ordinance. Nothing has been fixed. We are now in the new year, and the signs are different on entering the street on two different sides. If this is not on the next agenda to the correct committee to reverse the ordinance or at least have a police officer fix it, I will have no other choice after trying for years to get this rectified. I feel like the same person, his questions fell on deaf ears as well. The city has been negligent in posting and correcting signs regarding the times of the ordinances, which causes a dangerous situation on the street. He fell, but somebody will get killed. The city also impeded our travel to our houses every day, twice a day. There is no other way to get to our home. The city has a duty of care and responsibility to keep residents safe. I have videos of school teachers, school buses, not obeying the posted times on multiple occasions. I feel there has been a discriminatory treatment regarding multiple requests, refusing to entertain or give credit to a valid complaint addressed multiple times. I know that a couple of other people went over, so I'm just asking you for this as well. I watched last night. There was a sign interpreter. There was not an English interpreter. I am asking for both, that we can communicate as a city somehow. I've called all nonprofits. I've called Adult Lawrence Education for free Spanish classes, so I can have conversation with my neighbors. It would be great for the local hospitals that they would be able to converse with also the people that they're serving. The people that I called laughed at me. The other thing, any job in Lawrence requires bilingual and they want bicultural, but it's okay for you to take my tax money. I am asking for the same services that we're providing the Hispanics in here. You have 20% that are not. And we should get the same free classes as well. In schools too, and I'm not sure if you're aware, they offer a biliteracy seal if you know 2 languages. Pat Moriano and all the other school committee members are, great, but they're all Hispanic, not one white person, because we're not teaching any other language, or we're not teaching the Spanish to the people that speak English. It would just help the community in general altogether.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And just one more time, the address for the record, please.
47 Hamlet Street.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That is the last item on public participation. The clerk will take the sign-in sheet and make that in addition to the other information that was submitted to as part of the record. The next item this evening are of orders, appropriation orders and resolutions. These will both of them are going to be sent down to the Budget and Finance. That's document number 422, a request for FY22 appropriation transfer submitted by Raquel Rano. That's going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document number 1222, request for FY22 appropriations transfers submitted by our clerk, Diane LeBlanc. That is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. There were no committee reports. There is 2 items under old business. The first item is document number 28221, the contract renewal for City Attorney Raquel Romano. That is currently under a charter objection. That is back up now as an item. So there's a couple things here. There is an underlying motion that, that this was sent down to the Personnel Committee, and that once the Personnel Committee has a chance to review this, then it automatically becomes approved without it having any further discussions at the full council level. I've talked to the city attorney, not the one we're dealing with, but Mr. Hooton, regarding this, and asked for advice on parliamentary procedure on this. And the fact that we sent that with that caveat is out of order. So the motion as it currently stands is out of order because of that conditional phrase of sending it to the committee. So because that is out of order, I'm looking for, this is currently before the budget, before the Personnel Committee. At this point, I'm looking for a motion to table and have the Personnel Committee complete its duties. Is there a motion to table?
Council President, I have a question.
Mr. Piano.
Council President, was this, I do not remember seeing that email. Was this the city attorney sent us an email today?
I did not get an email today. This was an opinion that I just received late this afternoon from the city attorney. I will give it to the councilors here and submit one to the record as well. You got one?
Sí, por favor.
Councilor President?
Mr. Piano has the floor unless he wishes to relinquish the floor.
I'll relinquish the floor. I'm still reading the memo, but I'll relinquish the floor.
Council Vice President.
So could you please repeat the last part of what you were saying, is that you're looking for a motion to table until?
I'm looking for a motion to table to let the committee do its work, to set it up with a committee report, and then we could have a vote on the full council at our next full city council meeting in 2 weeks.
So Council President, so what I would say, since this is, I think, we had a certain argument in the last meeting. I think that it would be helpful for items of this nature, especially if the city attorney is going to be presenting a report or an opinion on an item that we're going to be discussing. I think it's important for us to, if possible, and it sounds like since he had given it to you, he could have given it to all of us. And just in that last paragraph, I don't quite, reading the last paragraph, I don't understand if he's saying that we could suspend Rule 4, or if he's saying, because he essentially says that there's two actions he says that there's two actions that could be done. And it sounds like one of those actions is, so the last paragraph isn't, I can't read it and clearly make a determination as to what it is that the city attorney is advising us to do and what those two options are. Maybe somebody else can give us a clearer understanding.
So based on the opinion and the guidance from the city attorney, the guidance is as follows. The opinion is that you need to let the committee do its work. Once something goes from this board, from this position to the city, to the committee, the committee needs to do its work. The committee will be able to bring that up to the full council as a report. The argument being, if you were to go ahead and to essentially put a condition that once it even meets, that the thing automatically passes, then totally disarms and dissuades or undercuts the very purpose of having meetings, because we could always, or having committees, we could always have these motions that say, once it sees it, it's done. It just takes away the committee structure. So the opinion of the city attorney amplifies that in this document.
So through you, Council President, so I would say if this does end up going to the Personnel Committee,
Pardon me for 1 second, it is already there.
okay, so, okay, so it's already there, yeah, okay, yep, I remember it was put there. So if, I don't know, we spent a good 2-3 hours, maybe more, having this discussion with the entire city council, except a few members that weren't able to make it. It sounds to me, again, if that's what the city attorney is saying, I would love the opportunity to be able to ask him questions. If the city attorney is saying that it has to go through the Personnel Committee, then so be it. But I do know that there have been, throughout our time, we have had conversations about employment. We have had conversations. I feel like even the last city attorney conversation that we've had, or the last position that we've talked about, went through the full committee. So I'll leave it there, Council President. I hope we can move on this as soon as possible.
We will, and just for the record, the last personnel matter that we had was with the city clerk. That went before the Personnel Committee, just as a reminder, because there was those 4 individuals, which the Vice President was one of the members that dealt with that. So it has gone, and these traditionally have gone before the personnel. Sometimes they go before the Committee on the Whole as well on bigger items, but definitely before the personnel. But I do appreciate your comment, and I will. This came very late in the day. I'll work to try to get this electronically to you as soon as I get it. I got it very late, but I wanted to make sure you all had it. There was basis for that, and I'll work to and make sure that we try to improve on that. Any other comments? I am still looking for a motion to table.
I made the motion.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is tabled. The next item is document number 28821. I am going to hand the stapler / gavel to the Vice President. Because I am on the prevailing side of this particular item. This is a document that deals with the change of Council Rule Number 2. I'd like to suspend, I like to use Rule Number 11 to suspend Rule 20 to reconsider my vote on this rule. That's my motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Council, Vice President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve. I'd like to make a motion that we suspend 21 for final rejection. That's my
Second.
motion.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
I'd like to make my final motion as a motion to approve document number 28821.
Here, second.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second by Councilor Payano. All those in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion.
As a courtesy to my colleagues, this is a rule that's going to change the hybrid nature for at least 4 months to allow individuals, if they are, this is not my agenda item, but as I understand it, if individuals, counselors are ill, it's not to be used when counselors are on vacation. It's not to be used if counselors are at work. It's if counselors are ill or have some illness issues that they can't come here, the ability to go ahead and have a hybrid meeting, especially now till the end date of April 22nd, is what we're looking at. There is a cutoff sunset on this particular rule, so it will expire in April, and that might be right about the right time. I don't know the details of our new COVID Omicron, but maybe that might be a good time as well. So that's the purpose of this rule as it was explained to me, and I support it. So thank you, Council.
Discussion.
And discuss, Councilor Rodriguez.
Is that part of your motion?
that only if the councilors are ill?
That's
Because,
part
I
of,
mean,
that's
that's
part
not,
of the package,
that's
that's
not part of
my
the
motion,
package.
that's the document.
Because that was not part of the original discussion. That was part of probably your discussion with the city councilor, so I want to make sure that if that's part of your motion, I'm not supporting it. Because it should be up to the discretion of the city councilors in case that they don't feel comfortable coming because of the COVID. They not necessarily need to be sick. They just don't feel like they're comfortable getting sick. And if the restrictions are just for councilors that are sick, I'm not in support of it. If there is no restriction as of how the state law is written, and then I will support it.
Through you,
So
Council President.
clarification on that, please.
Can I read?
Before you, Councilor Rodriguez is asking for a clarification if that was part of Councilor President's motion.
Sure, I'll read the exact motion as it stands, and I think that will provide clarity, because I'm not looking to change it at all. I request of the City Council under City Council Rule 2 allow that all meetings of the City Council and committees to be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chamber and remotely via Zoom until April 1st, 2022, to accommodate, here's the key point, all potential participants with a health consideration that prevents them from participating in person.
Through you, Madam Vice Chair?
Hello,
Vice
Vice.
President. Yeah, so I would say, to me, what Councilor Rodriguez stated is a health consideration. I think that there are, there could be individuals that wearing a mask might create breathing issues. There are individuals that might be wary of themselves. They might not be sick with COVID, but they might be sick with something, or that might not want to come here and spread that. So I think that the term health consideration is encompassing of what Councilor Rodriguez was stating. And also, I don't think any of us are going to be, I think voters are our bosses, and voters will probably be checking in on us regardless of what we do. So I think that if a councilor were to state that they are unable to make it for XYZ reason, I would be, I'd be trusting that counselor to be honest with those statements.
Any other councilor? So the motion? Yeah, Councilor Rodriguez.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I think the health consideration, it's weighed, it's wider than just when somebody's sick.
Agreed.
Which basically it's considering every possible situation that a councilor might go through. So I just want to make sure that it's clear in case other voters or my constituents is asking, no, you're not sick because I saw you doing this and this and that, and then that could be a potential discussion, and I want to make sure that we all in the same page about this.
Okay. So, motion?
I believe it's been seconded.
Yeah, it has been taken. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Can I staple it back?
Staple
Thank you. Council, you're probably wondering why I have a stapler as opposed to a gavel. One of the transition issues was we kind of lost a gavel. So we're making do. Hopefully the next meeting we'll have that. Anything under table matters that any council wants to take up this evening? Hearing none, I'll go right to new business, referrals. New business, request, document 322, request to expend grant funds of up to $27,685 under SORB address verification program that is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document number 522, request for ordinance creating position of Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document number 622, the request to accept funds of up to $995,000 under the 2022 Massachusetts Municipal Public Safety Staffing Grant is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 722, request to expend grant funds, $250,000 from EOPSS Shannon Grant is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 822, a request to expend grant funds, Welcome Center project of $20,000 funded by Savita Health. That is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document number 922, a request to expend climate change grant in the amount of $2,500 is submitted by, is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document number 1022, appointment of Modesto Maldonado to the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority Board. That is going to the Personnel Committee. Document 1122, appointment of Sarah Perez to the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority Board is going to the Personnel Committee. Counselors, the one thing that's obviously outstanding are the committee assignments. I am slowly getting there. I'm getting members' committee assignments. I am hopeful. My goal is to get this completed by tomorrow. In the meantime, so I'll be reaching out to those counselors who I don't see today and perhaps tomorrow to get the committee assignments. In the meantime, we do need to schedule committee meetings next week. All 4 of the committees will be meeting next week to be part of it. Some of them are just organizational. Others will be not only organizational, but substance. For example, personnel and budget and finance are 2 that are really going to have some substance to their meetings. So I do have a small number of counselors right now that have been assigned it, but I'm waiting for the entire list. And as soon as we have that, I'll be working with Teresa Vega to make sure that we get that information out to you. And I want to thank, by the way, I just want to thank Teresa Vega for doing a great job at the City Council, serving this council in an extraordinary capacity through all the transitions that are going on. Sometimes she goes under the radar screen, but sometimes I don't want to embarrass her, but but we do appreciate what she's doing and what she has done and what she'll continue to do. So a big thank you to you, Teresa. We do appreciate it. So that's where we stand right now. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn, and I'll be in contact.
So moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Councilor Pagano, seconded by the Vice President. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You guys have it, it's unanimous. Thank you. I need to talk to the bill.
So mine is easy. Ordinance and